The beginning of each week is like standing at the edge of a vast canvas with a brush in your hand. You can paint whatever you choose. You can create a masterpiece, or you can create mediocrity. The choice, as it always has been and always will be, is entirely yours. Now, I've been studying successful people for decades, and I've discovered something fascinating. The most successful people, the ones who achieve extraordinary results year after year, they all have one thing in common. They understand that how you begin determines how you end. They know that the way you start your Monday morning sets the tone for your entire week, and the way you conduct your weeks determines the direction of your months, your years, and ultimately your life. You see, success is not an accident. It's not luck. It's not being in the right place at the right time, though timing certainly plays a part. Success is the result of doing certain things in a certain way consistently over time. And it all begins with how you choose to start each week. Most people begin their week in reaction mode. They wake up Monday morning and immediately start reacting to whatever life throws at them. The phone rings, the emails pour in, the demands start coming from every direction. And before they know it, they're spending their entire week putting out fires instead of building their dreams. They're working in their life instead of working on their life. But the successful person, the person who takes control of their destiny, they begin their week differently. They begin with intention. They begin with purpose. They begin with a plan. They understand that if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned to have for you? Not much. So let me share with you the secret of how to begin every week. It's a simple process, but don't mistake simple for easy. Simple things, when done consistently, produce extraordinary results. But most people won't do them because they appear too simple, too basic. They're looking for the complex solution, the magic formula, the secret shortcut. But I'm here to tell you, the secret has always been in the fundamentals. The first thing you must do at the beginning of every week is to get clear on what you want to accomplish. Not just busy work, not just activities that make you feel important, but real progress toward your major goals and dreams. You see, activity is not achievement. Being busy is not being productive. You can be busy and poor. You can be busy and unsuccessful. You can be busy and frustrated, but you cannot be focused and unsuccessful. So take some time, preferably Sunday evening or Monday morning, and ask yourself this question: what are the most important things I need to accomplish this week to move my life forward? Not 50 things, not 20 things, but 3 to 5 significant accomplishments that will make a real difference. Write them down. There's something powerful about putting pen to paper. When you write something down, you move it from the realm of wishful thinking into the realm of possibility. Your goals become real when they're written down. They become commitments when you put them on paper. But here's what most people miss. It's not enough to just write down what you want to accomplish. You must also write down why you want to accomplish it. The why is what gives you the power to push through when things get difficult, and they will get difficult. The how is important, but the why is what drives the how. Let me tell you something about human nature. We will do more to avoid pain than we will to gain pleasure. So when you're writing down your goals for the week, don't just focus on what you'll gain by achieving them. Also write down what it will cost you if you don't achieve them. What will happen to your dreams if you have another week like last week? What will happen to your family, your financial situation, your health, your relationships if you continue to drift through your weeks without intention? This is not about being negative. This is about being realistic. This is about creating the emotional leverage you need to follow through on your commitments to yourself. Now, once you're clear on what you want to accomplish and why you want to accomplish it, the next step is to schedule it. If it's not scheduled, it's not real. If it's not on your calendar, it's just a wish. Successful people don't hope they'll find time for their important activities. They make time. They schedule their priorities instead of prioritizing their schedule. Look at your week ahead. Where are you going to fit in the activities that will move you toward your goals? When are you going to work on that project that could change your career? When are you going to have that important conversation with your spouse, your children, or your business partner? When are you going to invest in your education, your health, your personal development? The unsuccessful person says, I'll do it when I have time. The successful person says, I'll make time because it's important. There's a big difference between having time and making time. You'll never have time for the important things. You must make time for the important things. And here's something else you must understand about time. Time is the most valuable commodity you have. It's more valuable than money because you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Once this week is gone, it's gone forever. You can never get it back. So how you spend your time this week is how you're spending your life. This brings me to another critical principle for beginning each week successfully. You must learn to say no to the good so you can say yes to the best. Every week you'll be presented with dozens of opportunities, requests, and demands on your time. Most of them will be good things. Some of them will even be great things. But if they're not the best things for where you're trying to go, you must have the discipline to say no. This is one of the hardest skills to develop, but it's one of the most important. The person who cannot say no to the merely good will never achieve the truly great. Your life will be filled with activity, but it won't be filled with accomplishment. So at the beginning of each week, not only should you decide what you're going to do, you should also decide what you're not going to do. What are you going to say no to this week so you can say yes to your priorities? What are you going to eliminate from your schedule to make room for what really matters? Remember, successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And one of the things unsuccessful people are not willing to do is disappoint people in the short term to serve them better in the long term. They would rather say yes to everything and accomplish nothing than say no to some things and accomplish something significant. But there's more to beginning your week successfully than just planning and scheduling. You must also prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the challenges you're going to face. Because make no mistake, you will face challenges. You will encounter obstacles. You will meet resistance, both from the outside world and from within yourself. The question is not whether you'll face difficulties. The question is whether you'll be prepared for them. Will you crumble at the first sign of resistance, or will you push through because you're mentally and emotionally prepared? This is where most people fail. They make plans, they set goals, they get excited about the possibilities, but they don't prepare themselves for the inevitable challenges. So when the going gets tough, they quit. They give up on their dreams and settle for whatever life hands them. But you can be different. You can prepare yourself for success by preparing yourself for struggle. How do you do this? By developing what I call a philosophy of life. A philosophy is like a set of principles that guide your decisions and actions. It's your personal GPS system that keeps you on course when the storms of life try to blow you off track. Your philosophy determines your attitude, and your attitude determines your actions, and your actions determine your results. So if you want better results, you must start with a better philosophy. What should your philosophy include? First, it should include the understanding that life is difficult. This is not pessimism. This is realism. Once you accept that life is difficult, it becomes less difficult because you're not constantly surprised by the challenges. You expect them, you prepare for them, and you're ready to deal with them when they come. Second, your philosophy should include the belief that you have the power to overcome any challenge that comes your way. Not because life will be easy, but because you will be strong. Not because the path will be smooth, but because you will be prepared. Not because you won't face setbacks, but because you know how to bounce back from setbacks. Third, your philosophy should include the understanding that everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and it serves you. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every problem contains within it the seeds of its own solution if you'll look for it. This kind of thinking doesn't come naturally to most people. Most people are trained to see problems as problems, setbacks as failures, challenges as roadblocks. But successful people are trained to see differently. They see problems as opportunities, setbacks as learning experiences, challenges as chances to prove what they're made of. How do you develop this kind of thinking? The same way you develop any skill, through practice. You practice looking for the good in every situation. You practice asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of asking, how can I avoid this problem? You ask, how can I grow from this problem? This is mental conditioning, and it's just as important as physical conditioning. If you want to be physically strong, you must exercise your body regularly. If you want to be mentally strong, you must exercise your mind regularly. And one of the best ways to exercise your mind is to feed it good information at the beginning of each week. What are you putting into your mind first thing Monday morning? Are you starting your week by reading the newspaper, listening to the news, checking social media? If so, you're starting your week by filling your mind with negativity, problems, and other people's drama. You're programming yourself for mediocrity before the week even begins. Instead, start your week by feeding your mind positive, educational, inspirational information. Read something that will help you grow. Listen to something that will motivate you. Watch something that will inspire you. Remember, you become what you think about most of the time, so be very careful about what you're thinking about at the beginning of each week. This is why I always recommend that people start their week with some form of personal development. Spend the first 30 minutes of your Monday morning working on yourself. Read a few pages from a good book. Listen to an educational audio program. Review your goals and dreams. Visualize yourself achieving them. This is not wasted time. This is the most important time you'll spend all week, because it's when you're programming your mind for success. It's when you're reminding yourself of who you are, where you're going, why you're going there. But personal development is not just about taking in information. It's also about taking action on that information. Knowledge without application is useless. You can read all the books, attend all the seminars, listen to all the audio programs, but if you don't apply what you learn, you won't get the results you want. So, as you begin each week, don't just ask yourself what you're going to learn. Ask yourself what you're going to apply. What principle will you put into practice this week? What skill will you work on developing? What habit will you focus on building or breaking? Remember, success is not about knowing what to do. Most people know what to do. Success is about doing what you know. It's about closing the gap between knowing and doing, between intention and action, between dreaming and achieving. This brings me to another crucial element of beginning your week successfully, the power of momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and it's one of the most important factors in achieving success. When you have momentum working for you, everything becomes easier. When you don't have momentum, even the simplest tasks become difficult. The key to momentum is getting started. You don't have to start big, but you'd have to start. You don't have to start perfect, but you do have to start somewhere. The hardest part of any journey is taking the first step, but once you take that first step, the second step becomes easier, and the third step becomes even easier. So at the beginning of each week, identify one thing you can do immediately to start building momentum toward your most important goal. It doesn't have to be a huge action. It can be something small, something simple, something you can do right now. The key is to do it immediately, without hesitation, without procrastination, without making excuses. Once you take that first action, take another one, and then another one. Before you know it, you'll have momentum working for you instead of against you. You'll find yourself making progress faster than you ever thought possible. But momentum is not just about taking action. It's also about taking the right action. You can be very busy and have no momentum at all if you're busy doing the wrong things. You can be moving very fast and still be going nowhere if you're moving in the wrong direction. This is why it's so important to be clear on your priorities at the beginning of each week. When you know what's most important, you can focus your energy on the activities that will give you the greatest return on your investment of time and effort. There's a principle called the 80/20 rule, which states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. This means that most of what you do doesn't really matter. Only a small percentage of your activities actually move you forward in a significant way. The key is to identify that 20%, those few activities that really make a difference, and focus most of your time and energy on them. Don't spread yourself too thin trying to do everything. Instead, concentrate your efforts on the few things that matter most. At the beginning of each week, ask yourself this question: what are the few things I could do this week that would make the biggest difference in my life? Once you identify them, make them your priority, schedule them first, protect them from interruption. Give them your best time and your best energy. This is how you maximize your results with minimum effort. This is how you work smarter instead of just working harder. This is how you get more done in less time and have more time for the things that really matter to you. But there's something else you must understand about achieving maximum results. It's not just about what you do during your working hours. It's also about how you prepare yourself for those working hours. Your evening routine is just as important as your morning routine. How you end your day determines how you begin the next day. Successful people don't just wing it when it comes to their evening routine. They have a systematic approach to ending each day that sets them up for success the next day. They review what they accomplished, they plan for tomorrow, they prepare their mind and body for rest and recovery. At the end of each day, especially at the end of each week, take a few minutes to review your progress. What did you accomplish? What did you learn? What would you do differently? This is not about judging yourself or beating yourself up if you didn't accomplish everything you planned. This is about learning and growing and getting better. The person who doesn't review their progress is doomed to repeat their mistakes. The person who doesn't evaluate their results will never improve their methods. Success requires constant course correction, and course correction requires regular review and evaluation. But review is not enough. You must also celebrate your wins, no matter how small they might seem. Most people are great at criticizing themselves when they fall short, but they're terrible at acknowledging themselves when they succeed. This is backwards. You should be quick to celebrate your victories and slow to condemn your defeats. Every time you accomplish something, no matter how small, acknowledge it. Pat yourself on the back. Feel good about it. This is not about being arrogant or boastful. This is about reinforcing positive behavior. What gets rewarded gets repeated. If you want to achieve more success, you must learn to celebrate the success you've already achieved. This positive reinforcement creates an upward spiral of achievement. The more you acknowledge your successes, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the more risks you're willing to take. The more risks you're willing to take, the more opportunities you create. The more opportunities you create, the more success you achieve. And the cycle continues. But celebration is not just about acknowledging what you've accomplished. It's also about appreciating what you have. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions you can experience, and it's one of the most important habits you can develop. At the beginning of each week, take a few minutes to think about what you're grateful for. What's going well in your life? What opportunities do you have? What relationships do you treasure? What experiences have shaped you? What resources are available to you? This is not about being satisfied with where you are. This is about appreciating where you are while you're working toward where you want to be. Gratitude doesn't make you complacent. It makes you content. And there's a big difference between being content and being complacent. Complacent people stop growing because they think they've arrived. Content people keep growing because they appreciate the journey. Complacent people take what they have for granted. Content people value what they have while working for more. When you start your week with gratitude, you start from a position of strength rather than a position of weakness. You start from abundance rather than scarcity. You start with a full cup rather than an empty cup. This gives you the emotional resources you need to handle whatever challenges the week might bring. But gratitude is not just a feeling. It's also an action. The best way to express gratitude is to make the most of what you've been given. If you're grateful for your health, take care of your body. If you're grateful for your mind, feed it good information. If you're grateful for your relationships, invest time and energy in them. If you're grateful for your opportunities, act on them. This is how gratitude becomes a catalyst for achievement rather than an excuse for mediocrity. This is how appreciation becomes the foundation for aspiration rather than a substitute for ambition. As you begin each week, remember that you have been given gifts that no one else has been given. You have a unique combination of talents, experiences, knowledge, and opportunities that no one else possesses. The question is not whether you have what it takes to succeed. The question is whether you'll use what you have been given. Most people go to their grave with their music still in them. They have great ideas that they never act on, great dreams that they never pursue, great potential that they never develop. They spend their lives wondering what could have been instead of creating what should be. But you can be different. You can be one of the few who actually uses their gifts, who develops their potential, who turns their dreams into reality. You can be one of the few who makes their life a masterpiece instead of a mediocrity. It all begins with how you choose to begin each week. It begins with the decision to stop drifting and start designing. It begins with the commitment to stop reacting and start creating. It begins with the choice to stop hoping and start planning. Every Monday morning you have a choice. You can approach the week like most people do, as something that happens to you, or you can approach it like successful people do, as something you make happen. You can be a victim of circumstance or a creator of circumstance. You can let life happen to you, or you can happen to life. The choice is yours, and you must make it fresh every week. Success is not a one-time decision. It's a daily decision, a weekly decision, a decision you must make over and over again. Every time you're faced with the choice between what's easy and what's right, between what's comfortable and what's necessary, between what's popular and what's profitable, you must choose success. This is not always easy, but it's always worth it. The price of success is always less than the price of failure. The price of discipline weighs ounces, but the price of regret weighs tons. The temporary discomfort of doing what you should do is always less painful than the permanent regret of not doing what you could have done. So as you prepare to begin your next week, remember this: you have everything you need to succeed. You have the intelligence, the creativity, the resources, the opportunities. What you need now is the discipline to use them, the courage to act on them, the persistence to see them through. Your future is not determined by your past. Your future is determined by what you do today, this week, with the time you have left. You can't change what happened yesterday, but you can change what happens tomorrow by what you do today. The week ahead is full of possibility. It's full of opportunity. It's full of potential. The question is not what the week holds for you. The question is what you will bring to the week. Will you bring your best effort, your best attitude, your best intentions? Will you bring your dreams, your goals, your plans? Will you bring your commitment, your persistence, your determination? The successful life is not lived by accident. It's lived on purpose. It's not lived by chance. It's live by choice. Every week you have the chance to choose success over failure, progress over stagnation, growth over decline. Every week you have the opportunity to move closer to your dreams or further away from them. How you begin each week is how you begin your life. Make it count. Make it matter. Make it magnificent. Your dreams are waiting for you to show up. Your goals are waiting for you to pursue them. Your potential is waiting for you to develop it. This is your time. This is your week. This is your opportunity. Don't waste it. Don't squander it. Don't let it slip away while you're waiting for a better time, a better opportunity, a better situation. The best time is now. The best opportunity is the one in front of you. The best situation is the one you create. Begin this week like your life depends on it, because it does. Begin this week like your dreams are counting on it, because they are. Begin this week like it's the beginning of the rest of your life, because it is. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. The time is now. Make this week the week you look back on as the week everything changed, the week you stopped wishing and started working, the week you stopped dreaming and started doing, the week you stopped hoping and started happening. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you to begin it. And it begins with how you choose to begin this week.